This young man, Jing, runs a mobile repair shop, but the money he earns from there hardly pays for his rent. In fact, it's not about the rent, it's about his little sister, Tong, who needs money for her surgery because she has a hole in her heart. The entire responsibility for his sister rests on Jing's shoulders because his dad left his mother many years ago, and his mother also passed away due to cancer. Despite this emotional burden, one day Jing visits the doctor, who reveals that Tong's condition is getting worse day by day, and she only has 2 years left to live without surgery. However, the money he needs for the surgery overwhelms him, as it's over 700,000 yuan, which Jing has no idea how on earth he will arrange from. That same night, while Jing looks at his sister adoringly, he receives a call from his friend who summons him to his factory because he wants to show Jing something. There, he slides back a cloth to reveal a colossal stockpile of 100,000 smartphones. He explains that these phones were supposed to be sent to Italy but were rejected during quality checks, and now the owner is in jail and hasn't paid rent for the storage for 2 years. These phones are just taking up space and collecting dust. He offers to sell all the phones to Jing for 100,000 yuan, which Jing can repair and resell at higher prices. Jing considers the offer but doesn't have enough money to buy the entire stock, so he buys just one phone before returning home. He spends the entire night carefully repairing the phone and manages to turn it on by morning. Determined, Jing visits the bank the next day and secures a loan to acquire the entire stock of phones. Afterward, he goes to an electronic market in China where he signs a deal with a refurbished phone dealer to sell his phones. When Jing calculates the profit from this deal, he is shocked to realize the profit he will make by selling 100,000 phones is almost 1,000,000 yuan, which is more than enough for Jing to pay for his sister's surgery. Jing becomes very happy and excitedly picks up his sister from school because he feels that all his problems are about to be solved. But as you know, life has a habit of giving bad surprises. Jing experiences one such unpleasant surprise when 2 weeks later the Chinese government imposes a ban on the sales of refurbished smartphones due to the increasing e-waste. Jing angrily confronts the dealer, reminding him of their contract to buy all his smartphones, but the dealer informs him that no contract is above the law, and he can no longer purchase the phones. Jing is deeply saddened by the realization that he won't be able to arrange money for his sister anymore. Additionally, he now also has the burden of paying back the loan he took to purchase the phones. His life is miserable, but suddenly, an idea strikes him, and he goes to the manufacturing company of the same smartphone where he proposes a deal to the manager. Jing will sell them the parts of the smartphones at cheaper prices, which the company can use in their refurbished phones for sale in international markets. However, the manager tells him that it's not possible because removing the parts from the phones could lead to defects, causing them to fail quality control. Jing assures him that he can safely remove all the parts, ensuring they will still pass quality control. The manager was clearly not interested in Jing, so to avoid him, he loosely suggests that Jing send the parts for quality control testing and inform him when the report comes before leaving. Afterward, Jing works hard for several days to safely remove every important part of the phone and sends them for quality control. Fortunately, all the parts pass the quality checks, and Jing immediately takes the report to the manager, requesting him to sign a deal with him. The manager tells him that he never said he would buy the parts, he only asked Jing to inform him if they passed quality control. Jing becomes angrily saddened to hear this, but he doesn't give up. He approaches the company's owner, Zhang, and asks for just 10 minutes of his time. However, the owner is in a hurry because he has to catch a train in 30 minutes, so he declines to talk to Jing. Undeterred, Jing quickly buys a ticket for the same train and rushes towards the station on his scooter through narrow alleys. Unfortunately, he meets with an accident on the way. Determined, he picks himself up and struggles to restart his scooter, but it refuses to cooperate, so Jing turns to sprinting and runs to the station on foot, managing to catch the train at the very last second. He goes straight to the owner's seat and says, "Now you have 10 minutes, right?" Jing explains his entire plan to the owner, but the owner discourages him, saying that he won't be able to remove all the parts from the phones and keep them intact. However, after a lot of insisting from Jing, the owner agrees to buy all the parts from him but only if they pass quality control. If they fail, Jing won't get a dime. Furthermore, the owner refuses to provide any assistance or workers. Jing has to manage everything on his own. After getting off the train, Jing wonders how on earth he can dismantle 100,000 phones by himself. That night, Jing takes his sister from his friend's house and starts heading home. Along the way, Tong notices the wounds on her brother's back, and tears well up in her eyes as she realizes he's been in an accident. She tearfully tells him that he should drive slowly because, after him, there is no one else in the world for her. Jing assures her that he will drive slowly next time, and Tong tends to his wounds once they reach home. Later, Jing seeks out his neighbor Zhao and confides in him about his ambitious plan to establish a factory for dismantling the phones. He requests Zhao to oversee production on a part-time basis. Zhao warns Jing that his plan is too risky and he could lose everything, but Jing reveals that the only thing he stands to lose is his sister, and without this, there is no way he can pay for her surgery. Moved by Jing's determination, Zhao ultimately accepts his offer. The next day, Jing sells his shop and scooter to rent a place where he can set up his factory and store his stock of 100,000 phones. Jing and Zhao join forces to clean up the entire place and assemble the necessary furniture, naming the company Nice View. With the groundwork laid, they now need a team to work with, but to cut costs, Jing decides to hire some of the worst individuals so he doesn't have to pay high wages. Jing's first employee is Wang, a single mom who suffers from hearing loss due to prolonged exposure to noise in her previous job. Currently working as a waiter, she often takes wrong orders due to her hearing problem. Despite this, she possesses some technical knowledge, so Jing offers her a job which she happily accepts. His next employee is a weird guy who rarely talks to people and owns multiple dogs. He once punched his previous employer out of anger, after which he never found a job in another company. Jing extends a job offer to him, which he also agrees to. After that, Jing hires two gamer boys who care about nothing but gaming and spend their days playing computer games. Jing trains all his employees with dedication, ensuring that they don't mess up with quality control. Upon hearing Jing's story, some retired senior citizens living nearby stepped forward to help him, as they were getting bored at home. Jing feels happy to see that, and from the next day on, everyone starts working. However, Jing doesn't have enough money to pay their wages, so he takes up a window cleaning job with the help of his friend. During the day, Jing tirelessly cleans the window, and at night, he dives into dismantling the phones. With unwavering dedication, Jing pushes himself to the limit, working an astonishing 20 hours a day and leaving himself only 4 hours of sleep. The only purpose of his life is for his sister to be alive. One day, outside Jing's factory, some thugs start harassing Wang because they want her to withdraw the case she filed against her previous employer, which had caused her hearing loss. However, Wang refuses straight away to withdraw her case, so the man hits her on the face, causing Wang's hearing aid to break, a precious gift from her son. Witnessing this, Jing runs towards the man and delivers him a powerful flying kick, which prompts the man's accomplices to retaliate against Jing. Seeing this, Jing's employees come to his side, leading to a struggle between the two groups. Just then, Zhang, the weird employee, enters the chat and knocks out all the bad guys with ease. Jing warns that he doesn't want to see them around, but Wang, fueled by rage, attempts to attack them with an axe. Jing and the other employees try to stop her, and Jing assures Wang that he can fix her hearing aid, which calms her down. A few days later, one of Jing's employees gets married, and Jing takes to the stage to deliver a heartfelt speech in honor of the newlyweds. Later, while bonding over drinks, Zhao asks Jing if he has any plans for himself, but Jing reveals that all he wants in life is to see her sister grow. However, Jing's troubles don't end there. After the party, when he returns home with his sister, he finds a note from the landlord at the door, stating that he must pay his 4 months due rent to open the door. Jing attempts to open the door with his key, but the landlord has changed the lock. Jing tries to convince the landlord over the phone, but he denies opening the door. Now Jing doesn't know where to go with his sister at this late hour, so he takes her to Zhao's house to spend the night. Feeling frustrated and desperate, Jing goes to confront his friend who sold him the stock of mobile phones because he owes Jing 2,000 yuan, which he hasn't paid for months. Jing delivers him punches before collecting every penny he has from his house. The next day, Jing arranges for himself and his sister to stay in his factory because he doesn't want to burden Zhao any further. Jing feels sorry for himself that he cannot even afford a nice bed for his sister. He resolves to work even harder and almost stops sleeping, only taking short naps between work to recharge himself. He treats every moment as precious, dedicating himself entirely to his goals. One night, while Jing was catching a brief nap at his desk, his sister wakes him up because she hears some strange noises outside that frighten her. Jing ventures outside to investigate, only to find 2 people stealing his mobile phone stock from the truck. Upon being spotted, the thieves immediately start running away, but Jing jumps onto the truck. He hangs by the door, leading to a scuffle with the intruders. As a result, the truck drifts to the middle of the road, and Jing and one of the intruders are thrown away from the truck, resulting in severe injuries to Jing's fingers. The truck driver runs away, but Jing walks up to his accomplice, demanding his phones back. At that moment, his sister also rushes to the scene, and seeing her brother injured, she becomes deeply upset. After receiving medical attention for his injuries, the police informed Jing that they caught the thief through his assailant and recovered all the stolen phones. The next day, while working his window cleaning job, Jing accidentally drops a bucket of water due to his injured finger, leading his boss to summon him to the office. Seeing Jing's swollen hand, he instructs him to remove his gloves. Reluctantly, Jing removes the gloves only to get scolded by his boss for working with an injured hand. Despite Jing's pleas, he heartlessly fires him from his job but provides him with a salary for the 3 days that Jing worked with his injured fingers. Now, with all his options exhausted, Jing doesn't know how he'll pay the rent for his office or the wages of his employees, let alone afford his sister's treatment. The fear he had is realized when the landlord gives him only 3 days to pay the rent before he rents the place to someone else. Left with no other choice, Jing finds himself standing resolutely in front of the manager's car amidst a raging storm, asking him for some advance payment. However, the manager insults Jing, calling him an overambitious wage worker before kicking him out of his car. Feeling disheartened, Jing spends the night with his sister at Zhao's house as the relentless rainstorm continues to lash the city throughout the night. The following day, as Jing makes his way to his office, his heart sinks at the sight that greets him. The landlord has callously thrown all of Jing's belongings out onto the street and rented the place to someone else. Feeling hopeless and defeated, Jing finds himself sitting forlornly by the wayside, devoid of any thoughts or ambition, just peacefully looking at an ant. At that moment, all of Jing's employees arrive ready to work, but Jing apologizes to them before informing them that the factory has been closed, and he doesn't have the money to pay their wages. To Jing's surprise, his employees tell him that they are no longer just employees, they are a team, and Jing can pay them salaries once he has the money because they understand how hard he is working. They are grateful that someone believed in them enough to hire them for the first time. They assure Jing that they will work from home and complete the orders. This boosts Jing's morale greatly, after which they load the phones onto the truck and take them to their homes, where they start dismantling them. After months of tireless effort, all the work is finally done, and Jing sends the parts off for quality test. However, he still fears what he will do if the parts are rejected in the quality test. Jing and his employees nervously await the test results, and after a few minutes, they are called to the company's CEO Zhang's office. Zhang congratulates Jing for completing the orders on time before informing him that 87% of the parts sent by Jing have passed the quality control. A wave of joy washes over everyone, and tears of happiness fill Jing's eyes. But the story doesn't end there. Zhang is highly impressed with Jing and offers him a deal worth 5 million yuan to work for him for 2 years. Jing nervously asks if he can get an advance payment this time, to which Zhang smiles and agrees. The group holds back their emotions as they enter the elevator, but as soon as they reach inside, they scream with joy at the top of their lungs. Finally, Jing is able to get his sister treated. The scene then shifts to 6 years later and Jing's company, Nice View, has soared to immense heights, making Jing a billionaire. Today he can be seen on stage launching a new product for his company, with all his old employees, who have also become quite wealthy like Jing, present at the event.